Hello, and welcome to United with Alvin. You can always unite with me by liking, subscribing, and commenting in the comment section below. Now let's get to the vibes. Today we'll touch on what's Honor leaving Manchester United, the possibility of Garnacho leaving for Chelsea, Anthony leaving for Real Betis, and will Sancho ever leave Manchester United? Top of it as well, we're talking about will Sam Leme eventually be a Man United goalkeeper? I will sprinkle on Garnacho and Meno into the mix. Now let's get to the vibes. Rasmus Holland is finally leaving Manchester United. His move to Napoli is getting closer. I've always advocated for a player like Rasmus Holland. I've always said that he will be one of the best strikers, if not one of the best, he'll be one of the talk about strikers in the world in the next few years, especially going to Napoli, specifically playing under Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte is renowned for bringing out the best in players. Romelu Lukaku, Sanchez, Ericsson, he likes big physical strikers. So Rasmus Holland is no different from all these strikers preferred by Antonio Conte. And I like the way he's also eager to leave Manchester United. He would like to stay at Manchester United, but he said if the club doesn't trust him, he will be willing to go. And one thing I like about this transfer also is he wants it permanently. He doesn't want to be an option to buy, and later it will be difficult for him to get a club. Because he feels when he goes to Napoli and the deal is permanent, it means the club trusts him. So the club will be willing to put resources behind him to make him successful. Look, these United players go in on loan and optional to buy and not really materialize. Not really materialize, and they come to Manchester United, and it's difficult for them to go or to leave the club, and it's more like they are stuck at Manchester United. He, on the other hand, wanted to be a loan with obligation to buy, a loan with a mandatory to buy. And I'm also hearing his wages will be, slightly higher than what is in Manchester United, which means Antonio Conte and Napoli really want him and will really stick to him and make sure he becomes one of the successful strikers in the world and someone who can come in to help them. And these are the type of players actually continue, players who fight for the badge, players who fight for themselves. And he leaving Manchester United, personally to me, I wouldn't like him to leave Manchester United. But United need the money, and United also have to move on from him. So it is very important to get something out from him and also leaving to Napoli what secure his future and become one of the better footballers in the world. Now let's talk about Anthony. It's an open secret that Real Betis wants Anthony, and it's an open secret that Real Betis will come in for Anthony in the last minutes or getting closer to the end of the transfer window. It's an open secret. I kid you not, everybody knows that. But I've always reiterated that Manchester United should find a way to make it permanent. And it looks like United are willing to do that. If you are not able to get it permanent, I'm hearing Real Betis want to come in with an initial loan offer, but with a mandatory to buy. And I'm also don't want it to be in the case of the way Jadon Sancho's mandatory to buy at Chelsea was. Now, prior to Sancho going to Chelsea, we always saw that mandatory to buy didn't have a clause or something. You buy mandatory to buy, you buy permanently. If there should be a clause or whatsoever, it should be that if Real Betis are not able to sign Anthony permanently, the fine should be half of the transfer fee, probably 20 million pounds or 17 million pounds. That would be difficult for Real Betis not to pay that amount of money, which will end up in being mandatory. And the clauses should not be something difficult for Anthony to achieve. If he goes in and it's not injury prone and it doesn't go on injury and he's able to pick up a bit of form, if Sancho doesn't pick up an injury, then we might reach to back. Now let's talk about Bruno Fernandes and the conundrum ever since he missed the penalty. Look, Bruno is probably 95 percentile, 97 percentile when it comes to penalties. He is that good when it comes to penalties. Oh, there are many of times where when you're under pressure, you just hit the ball. It happens to every human. Roberto Baggio makes it the penalty in the '94 World Cup. It is what it is. You can't tell me just because he made that penalty, Roberto Baggio is one of the best players in the world. He was at his time. It happens to the best of them. Messi losing to penalty, missing the penalty, I think in the South American whatever in the final. I think he missed the penalty in the Copa America. Yes, in the Copa America, he lost the penalty, and Messi is still Messi. Just because he missed the penalty doesn't mean all of a sudden every United fan how to shame him, how to say bad things about him, saying he hasn't led Manchester United to anywhere, that he hasn't done enough for Manchester United. Look, the team in itself is in a bad state. Now, people are saying United should have accepted £100 million from Saudi Arabia. There's pressure on Manchester United. We needed to win against Fulham. But despite that missing penalty, Ruben Amorim should have stopped him. He didn't. He didn't have a good game. The whole team didn't have a good game. When we win, it's Bruno Fernandes. When we lose, it's Bruno Fernandes. That's what captain should count with. And I hope he'll be strong to carry Manchester United to the darkest period. He has been one of the catalysts of Man United few success. So we can't just bombard him just because he missed the penalty. He has done what it takes, or he feels is the best to lead Manchester United. Ruben Amorim has come in and said he's trying to rotate Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Menu. I don't think if you're doing it that way, it's to the disadvantage of Kobe Menu because Bruno Fernandes will always start. And if Bruno Fernandes doesn't start and is at the bench, he won't be happy and you have to be sold. Look, Casemiro has done his bit. Ugarte has done his bit. Put Kobe Menu there, let him play because they haven't really win one ball or distract opponent in these two games. Kobe Menu can do bits on the defensive midfield, but in terms of progressing the ball, in terms of creating chances, in terms of taking the ball to the final third, giving passes and detective play, Kobe Menu is miles better than Ugarte and Casemiro. And I hope he plays well. I hope Ruben Amorim put Kobe Menu in that two midfield with how do we call it? Bruno Fernandes. In his first match for Manchester United, it was against Everton, tough more. He's not tough more. Everton. And he's a very, very, loud and we needed a point. He was in the two pivot. And he did extremely well. So in as much as he might not have the energy, I feel he's better than those two in that central position. Put him there and let's see what he can bring. Ugarte comes in and tackles, and sometimes the ball just bypasses without even being in a good position. And he's standing wandering around, ball just bypassed him. And when he's with the ball, he doesn't really command the ball. He doesn't really progress the ball well. And when it's Ugarte in, it's like a negative one. So put Kobe Menu in there and let's see what he can also do. Put these two players in there. Kobe Menu, Bruno Fernandes. Let them start the games. Let them start the games. We have to see Kobe Menu. Today, Man United will be playing Brisbane Town. Look, I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. Until Man United win 5 Premier League matches in a row, we are not back. Until United win 5 Premier League matches in a row, we are not back. We don't want a situation whereby we don't perform well in the league and get our whole side in a cups competition. And when we get to the final, we lose. No, the cup competitions is not a prerogative this season. We need to do well in the league. That is a prerogative. And they have to play well against Brisbane Town too. These are just warm up and get to know each other. But the main focus, our prerogative this season is the Premier League. Playing them this weekend is a must win. We just have to win a star, prove that we are back. Going to the international break, coming in and playing City and Chelsea, we have to get positive points. We should have won against Fulham. This team has to fight. I didn't like the way we were standing there watching Fulham. I didn't see the press we were pressing opponents in the preseason. All of a sudden, these people look tired. Just 2 games into the season. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Please continue to like and comment on my video. Subscribe also and let this channel grow. Let this channel grow. United with Alvin.